Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll be going through the annual budget package. At the bottom of your screen, you'll find all the tabs we'll be using. These tabs include step-by-step instructions, an annual overview, cumulative annual, a budget tab for each month of the year, emergency reserve, savings goal, retirement planning, investment planner, home buying affordability, debt snowball method, debt avalanche method, and net worth. Let's start by reviewing the step-by-step instructions. This section provides the initial setup and detailed guidance on how to configure the spreadsheet. Make sure to enter the names of your accounts here, and remember, do not delete the bank accounts. Simply overwrite them. If you delete them, you may have to begin again with a new copy, as this could lead to errors in your graphs. You can have up to 11 accounts. Let's replace one of the bank accounts with HSBC. We'll also add another account which we'll name Bank of America. And that's it for the setup, quick and easy. Once you've completed your setup, you're all set to start working on your monthly budget tab. In this section, we'll take a closer look at the monthly budget tab. The purchase of the annual dashboard package gives you access to all 12 months, starting from the month of your choice. We'll begin by reviewing the different sections of the tab, then move on to planning our budget. At the top, you'll see the month and year, which can be adjusted in all versions. To the right, you'll find summaries of your total income, total expenses, and remaining funds. Below, the charts will automatically populate as we start filling out our budget. We'll see this in action shortly. This area contains the income table, bills, expenses, debt, subscriptions, and savings tables. The cash flow table below automatically updates as we enter our budget information, giving you an overview of your planned versus actual spending and earnings in each category. This table also includes a starting balance field, which you'll need to enter manually. Further down, you'll find an allocation overview for your needs, hobbies, savings, and liabilities. Below that is the financial overview table, where you can track your spending habits over a specific date range. Here you'll also find the bank accounts table and the bank accounts transfers table. Beneath the bank accounts transfers table is your daily spending report. And next to this section is the transaction journal, where you'll record your transactions. Finally, the high spending overview table includes a graph showing your top 5 expenses for the month. Now that we've gone over all the sections of the sheet, let's start planning our budget. First, enter your current account information. Scroll down to find the bank accounts table and input the initial balance for each account. Here we'll add the current balance for our HSBC account, and here we'll do the same for our Bank of America account. Notice the table below for bank accounts transfers. This allows you to move funds between accounts during the month. To transfer cash to our HSBC account, we'll enter the date, select a cash transfer to our HSBC account, and then input the amount you wish to transfer. Observe how the HSBC account balance increases while the Bank of America balance decreases. Next, let's scroll up and work on our income table. We'll enter Salary 1 here, along with the pay date and the planned amount. The actual field will automatically update once we input this in the transaction journal. Let's add another income source by entering the date and the planned amount. We don't have any rollover to account for, but if you did, you would enter it in the cash flow table here. Now, let's plan our bills for the month. We'll start with rent. Enter the due date for the rent. Suppose our rent costs $600. We'll categorize this as a need since housing is essential. We'll also add a water bill with a due date and a planned amount of $150. Assigning it as a need. Moving on to expenses, we'll add groceries to the list, planning to spend $200 and categorizing this as a need. Next, we'll add other grocery expenses, planning to spend $300, but this time we'll categorize it as a hobby. Lastly, we'll enter a debt payment for our car loan of $350, categorized as debt. You'll continue this process for all your income, bills, expenses, debt, subscriptions, and savings. Notice that at the top, our graphs begin to auto-populate as we input more data. Now that we've added some income and planned a few expenses, let's go to the transaction journal. First, enter the transaction date, then select the transaction type. In this case, we'll choose rent. You'll see that the category is automatically assigned as bills. Next, enter the amount, say $500, and specify which account it's being deposited into. In the type field, categorize it as need, hobby, savings, or debt. Let's add another entry, this time for groceries. Enter the purchase date, the amount, let's say $500, and the account used for the expense. Then, we'll add a car loan payment, entering the date and the amount, let's say $350, and the account used. Now that we've entered some data, let's review our dashboards. Scrolling up, you'll see an overview of your expenses next to the cash flow summary graph, which shows your planned budget for each category versus your actual earnings and spending. Notice that our planned amount for groceries was $200, but we actually spent $500. The table will display the difference between your planned and actual amounts. From there, you can see your needs and hobbies, showing your planned versus actual spending. The monthly balance summary chart provides an overview of your balance for the month. Finally, if you scroll over, you'll see the graph for the top 5 expenses begin to populate as you enter more data into your transaction journal. This will continue to adjust and update. This concludes our review of the monthly tab. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Enjoy managing your finances. In this section, we will cover the annual overview and cumulative annual tabs. At the top, you'll find your annual income, annual expenses, average daily income and expenses, and your total net worth. Below, there's a chart that compares total income to total expenses on a month-by-month basis, along with a financial overview of your expenses and a comparison between your annual planned budget and what you actually spent. Next, you'll see a section that details your average needs, hobbies, savings, and liabilities throughout the year, broken down month by month. Adjacent to this is a month-by-month breakdown of your bills, expenses, debt, subscriptions, and savings. You'll also find an area that shows your bank account balances over the year, again with a month-by-month breakdown. Following these sections, you'll find a summary of your top 5 bills, expenses, debts, subscriptions, and savings for the year. The Cumulative Annual tab provides a detailed table breakdown of your income and expenses, as well as your bank account balances, needs, hobbies, and savings. This concludes our review of the Annual Overview and Cumulative Annual tabs. If you have any questions, please send us a message. Enjoy managing your finances. Now we'll review the Emergency Reserve tab. This tab is divided into several sections. Let's start at the top. Here, you can specify how many months you want your emergency fund to cover. You'll see an overview of the current emergency reserve, the emergency reserve goal amount, and the progress you've made toward reaching that goal. Next, there's a distribution chart that displays each component of your fund along with a progress bar. This tab automatically updates based on the needs assigned in the Monthly Budget tab, but you can adjust it as needed. For example, if we increase our grocery budget by 50, you'll notice the dashboard starts to update. If we change the number of months, the goal amount adjusts accordingly. Currently, our progress is at 0%, so let's change that. Head over to the Contribution Tracker. Enter the date of your contribution. Suppose we plan to save $600 for the month, but we could only manage to contribute $500. You'll enter $600 in the planned column and $500 in the actual field. The dashboard will now update, showing the progress you've made. Continue to track your contributions and make adjustments as needed. Good luck building your emergency reserve. This wraps up the review of the Emergency Reserve tab. If you have any questions, feel free to send us a message. Enjoy managing your finances. In this section, we'll review the Savings Goal tab. This tab is designed to help you track various savings goals. It includes your total savings goal, monthly savings amount, the amount left to save, and current savings. The Savings Goal table is where you'll enter your different savings objectives. Let's set up a new savings goal. We'll start saving for a vacation. First, enter the goal amount, which is the total cost of the vacation. Then, input the planned monthly savings amount. For this example, we'll allocate $150 per month towards our vacation fund. If you have some money to start with, enter it in the starting amount field. Let's say we have $600 to begin with. If you don't have any initial savings, that's fine too. Just enter 0 in that field. The remaining columns will automatically populate, showing the amount left to save, the number of months it will take to reach your goal, and the projected date when you'll achieve your savings goal. You can track up to 18 different goals with this spreadsheet. That wraps up our review of the Savings Goal tab. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send us a message. Enjoy managing your finances. In this section, we'll review the Retirement Planning tab. This tab is designed to help you track retirement savings goal. It includes your total retirement savings goal, monthly retirement contribution, remaining retirement savings goal, and current savings. The Retirement Savings Goal table is where you'll enter your retirement savings objective. Let's set up a new retirement savings goal. First, enter the goal amount, which is the total amount you want for your retirement. Then, input the monthly contribution goal. For this example, we'll allocate $500 per month towards our retirement fund. If you have some money to start with, enter it in the Initial Retirement Savings Funds field. Let's say we have $15,000 to begin with. If you don't have any initial savings, that's fine too. Just enter 0 in that field. The remaining columns will automatically populate, showing the amount left to save, the number of months it will take to reach your goal, and the projected date when you'll achieve your retirement savings goal. That wraps up our review of the Retirement Planning tab. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send us a message. Enjoy managing your finances. Here we will review the Investment Planner tab. This tab allows you to estimate the return on up to 5 investments. At the top you'll find the estimated final balance of all your investments, total invested amount, and the total interest generated on those investments. The first section provides a complete overview of all investments, while the subsequent sections detail each individual investment. Let's go ahead and enter a few examples. For investment 1, we'll set an initial investment of $2,000, a planned monthly investment of $150, and an expected rate of return of 8%. Next, we'll add another investment with a starting contribution of $600, a monthly contribution of $100, and an expected rate of return of 6%. We'll enter an investment term of 10 years, and the tab will automatically calculate all the values for us. Now, our dashboard displays the total invested amount and the total interest generated on the investments. This concludes the Investment Planner review. If you have any questions, please send us a message. Enjoy managing your finances. Here we will review the Home Buying Affordability tab. This tab uses common strategies to calculate home affordability. These strategies include taking a percentage of your gross income, using your debt-to-income ratio, the gross income multiplier, and taking a percentage of your net income. You may see some errors initially, but these will correct themselves as we enter our data. Let's start by inputting our gross and net incomes. Next, we'll make some assumptions about what our expenses will look like once we become homeowners. Now let's fill in the initial deposit table. For example, if we're selling our current home, we'll enter those values here. Moving down to the monthly household debt obligations, we'll input our debt load, and finally, we'll fill in the mortgage details. Below these tables, you'll find the gross income housing allocation percentage, the debt-to-income ratio percentage, the net income housing allocation percentage, and the gross income multiplier used. Once we've entered all the data, the sheet will automatically calculate the least expensive home price using the various methods. You can also review the output of each method, complete with a breakdown of all the relevant information. This concludes the Home Affordability tab review. If you have any questions, please send us a message. Enjoy managing your finances. Here we will be reviewing the Debt Snowball Method tab. The Debt Snowball strategy is a debt payment method where you pay off your debts starting with the smallest balance and working your way up to the largest balance. In this tab, you can track up to 20 different debts. At the top, you'll see your current debt balance, your total monthly payments, how much of that payment goes towards interest, and your estimated payoff date based on the information you enter. Here is the debt balance overview, and next to it are the corresponding graphs that break down each debt. Let's go ahead and enter a few examples. First, we'll set our starting month. In this case, we'll enter a date from a few months back to demonstrate how the tracker functions. Let's add an entry called credit card. We'll enter the balance of $1,500, a minimum payment of $40, and an interest rate of 14%. Notice how the table below automatically populates. Your accrued interest is calculated, and your payoff date is determined. Next, let's add a student loan. Enter a balance of $30,000, a minimum payment of $400, and an interest rate of 7%. Notice how, once the credit card is paid off, the debt payment automatically gets applied to the student loan, creating the snowball effect. Now let's return to the debt balance overview table and enter our additional monthly payment. This amount is above your minimum payments. We'll set our extra monthly payment at $250. Observe how the payoff dates adjust. If you need to modify this amount, use the debt repayment summary table. For instance, if in February you have $450 available for your extra monthly payment, instead of the planned $250, you would enter $200 in the correction field, indicating that you are ahead by $200. Continue using this tool to tackle your debts. In March, if you only have $50 instead of the planned $250, type negative $200 in the correction field to show that you are short. The fields will adjust accordingly. This concludes the Debt Snowball Method tab review. Here we will be reviewing the Debt Avalanche Method tab. This tab functions in the same way as the Debt Snowball Method tab, but the strategy differs. Here we will be reviewing the Debt Avalanche Method tab. The Debt Avalanche strategy is a method where you focus on paying off your debts based on the interest rate, starting with the highest rate and working your way down to the lowest. This approach allows you to minimize the total interest paid over time, helping you to get out of debt more efficiently. This tab functions the same way as the Debt Snowball Method tab, with the key difference being that you enter your debts in order of interest rate, from the highest to the lowest. Everything else, including tracking up to 20 different debts, monitoring your current balance, total monthly payments, and payoff dates, works exactly the same way. This concludes the Debt Avalanche Method tab review. If you have any questions, please send us a message. Enjoy managing your finances. Here we will review the Net Worth tab. The Net Worth tab provides a comprehensive overview of your net worth on a month-to-month basis. You'll find charts here that display net worth trends, asset and liabilities distribution, and a comparison of your total assets to total liabilities. This dashboard captures your net worth for the selected month, and the tracker allows you to change the date so you can monitor your progress throughout the year. To begin tracking your net worth, enter your current net worth in the initial amount field. At the end of each month, update this field with your new net worth value. Let's go through an example. We'll start by filling in HSBC for our cash and bank account section, Investment 1 for our investment section, and a home for our real estate section. Next, we'll input the starting values for each of these. Moving down to liabilities, we'll enter our current liabilities. For this example, we'll add a credit card under liabilities, and for long-term liabilities, we'll add a student loan. We'll then fill in the starting values for each of these. Now let's assume it's the end of January. We'll update the values for each asset and liability. As the year progresses, you'll continue to update these values at the end of each month. The asset and liability distribution chart will reflect the selected month, while the net worth and asset versus liability chart will display the yearly overview. This concludes the Net Worth tab review. If you have any questions, please send us a message. Enjoy managing your finances.